Welcome everyone to the very first chapter of our Care for Children seminar series. For those of you who haven't heard about us, Care for Children is a service project of the Art of Living Foundation founded by Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. Care for Children funds Art of Living free schools in rural India. These schools support children coming from difficult backgrounds or families who cannot afford to send them to school. Our presence in India has been growing thanks to countless donors that regularly support us, and we are truly grateful for that. We have about 702 plus schools across 1,300 villages and 22 states in India, providing free holistic education, food, clothing, and other supplies to over 70,000 plus children. Today's session is themed around International Women's Day and the importance of girl-child education. We are so fortunate to have with us a woman leader and Care for Children volunteer, Meenakshi Srinivasan. We will be learning about Meenakshi ji's involvement and her experience volunteering for Care for Children, as well as discussing the importance of providing education to our girl children in helping them pursue their dreams. I would like to introduce Meenakshi ji to all our viewers. In her own words, Meenakshi ji can certainly attest to the value of girls' child education. Her mother held 2 master's degrees, much like she does. Her 2 grandmothers, though not degree holders, were highly educated and skilled in bringing up wonderful families and contributing in their own way to the society, being dynamic parts of large joint families. She continues the tradition of expanding her sense of belonging while doing her bit as a substitute teacher in a high school environment and devoting her time and skills to the Art of Living Foundation and Care for Children, the flagship project under it. So now I'm gonna ask a few questions to Meenakshi ji and know her better and her involvement. So Meenakshi ji, please share, how did your association with Care for Children begin and how long have you been volunteering for Care for Children?
My association started way back in 1996. It started with right after I had taken the Art of Living program. And my first school that I visited was the one in Bangalore, the ashram, near the ashram. And ever since, it's just continued in different capacities. Yeah.
That's a long journey you've had from 96 to 2021.
Yeah, I mean, it started very simply, it's just my children, on their birthdays, I would sponsor a child. It used to be called, it's still called the $1 a day program in some parts. So, just send in a check for 365, that it was just simple commitment to doing that. And then from there, it just grew and it's just been more into getting more fundraising done, blah, 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 getting more committed to, yeah.
That's wonderful. So you said you visited the first school in Bangalore. Do you remember like how many children, how many teachers were attending that school?
They had just the older building. Now they have extended it, and it looks like a big long train right now. The thing, I don't recall exactly the number of students. It was not that many as we have today. Far fewer kids. And it was only, I think at that time was only till 5th standard or something. Now we have all the way to 12th grade. So we have grown a lot since 96. Yeah. So it's been a long time. I just went there for a short visit. And then since then I've been to that school many times and it's grown like crazy. It's amazing. Yeah, thousands of students are in there now. Yeah. And also I've been to another one in Tamil Nadu. We have a school close to Tanjavur. I've been to that one. I actually spent a whole 10 days there working with the teachers and getting to know a lot of the kids there. So that was another school that I participated very intimately with. The first thing that hits you when you go into these schools is how joyous the children and the staff are. And there is this glow in the eyes of the children, which just gets to you. It's just wonderful to see. It's so beautiful. There is curiosity. There is a little bit of mischief. There's a little bit of everything in those eyes. There's a little bit of the dream, and that they are, nothing can, put them down or bring them down, that they're going to get there, They're so joyous. That's the only word that stands out for me. It's absolutely beautiful and precious to spend some time with them. And
that's wonderful. I would love to know, like, is there anything unique that is offered through our schools that bring out the joy that you were describing about the kids? How is it different from any other school?
And the beauty about this is from the very young age, from they start learning basic different yoga practices, which include meditation and certain other techniques. And what happens, I have noted, it's kind of part of the curriculum and yet not part of the curriculum. When you do it playfully, without them even realizing that it's the very integrated nature of the curriculum is providing you this as an offering, and it's such an integrated part, it doesn't feel like a separate class that you take. It's the backbone or the substratum from which the entire curriculum is established on. And that is something very, very unique, especially when they are younger, when they take this to be the norm. I remember once my husband had visited one of these schools, and he had brought back a video, and I was stunned to hear many children say in that, when my husband asked the question, why do you like our school? Why do you like the school? And so they said, what makes it so unique being in the school is the teachers respect us. It's not just doing the yogasanas that makes it unique, but it's that whole environment and ambience that provides that space of sacredness or basic respect. The children feel so comfortable with their teachers, and the teachers, vice versa, are comfortable with the students, that there's a sense of harmony which is already established, where learning happens automatically.
Another thing, like I know some of these villages in India, and the families are not very well off. So what kind of challenges while opening a school would we have faced, if we have any?
If you look at things as challenges, there are a lot of challenges. But the way our very schools even come to existence, that itself is a story in itself. We have a beautiful program called the YLTP, or the Youth Leadership Training Program, which is open to the youth of in India, especially. It's very popular. Now we have it in some parts of South America and Africa. We have rolled it out to other parts of the world also. But this YLTP, what it does is it empowers village youth, rural youth, as well as sometimes youth from our slums in big megapolises. So what happens is, after they go through this training, they are left with the opportunity to, now that they have been empowered, to come up with solutions for the problems that they think can become a challenge that they can take upon for themselves to solve. So now what is happening is, most of these people, especially from the village areas, in the rural, tribal, and the urban slum areas where we have our schools, these very youth who have been empowered with this program, most of them choose education to be that transformative change that is going to bring about greater transformation in their communities. That's the first thing they identify. And then the magic happens. Then all the resources that are required for the school, they all start coming in, pouring in, and everyone becomes part of this whole revolution, if you want to call it. It's like a social revolution that's happening, but in a very beautiful way. And everyone comes together, everyone does what they can to create that space, that way to make that school happen, manifest, and then it manifests.
So my next question would be, as being a donor and a volunteer for Care for Children, what would your message be to people out there who are just learning about us, what Care for Children is, and how, thinking how they could contribute?
Yeah, get to know us. You're invited. Like me, I got to know about it. And being inspired brings everything that happens, together. That's all it is. It's inspirational. It's inspiring work. It's inspirational. And it's just very joyous. I feel so blessed that I get an opportunity to do what I do. So,
who were your mentors and who supported you in your journey?
Everybody. As I said, I come from a very extended family. As much as I would give a lot of credit to my mom. She was one amazing person, and she has also touched many thousands of lives around the world doing the work that she did when she was alive. It's not one person, we learn from everybody and everything. It's like The sun teaches you the leaves, the trees, the plants. I did my undergrad in biology. So I loved this whole world that opened up to me under the microscope. That taught me as much as looking up into the stars teach me different things, as much as people whom I work with and live with and interact with teach me. My students are my greatest teachers, according to me, as much as my guru, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, without whom I can't imagine my life.
What would you say to the young girls out there, not just in India, but around the world, that have a dream? And what do you think they should do to be successful?
Just know that you are who you are. That's it. You don't need anything outside of you. You just need to open up to the wonder that life is, and take all the opportunities that come your way and figure out what is it that you want to do and what you want to be. You already are whatever you are. There's nothing that stops you from being fully who you are.
So oftentimes in today's society where, technology is so out there and we feel information is at our fingertips, yet that is not what education is. What is it that you think is true education?
Definitely a sense of human values, just academic knowledge, which is modular, which can be very modular. I can teach unit 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. It just by itself has no value. Today, you have Google to answer all those questions. So what? Okay, so what if I know what is the distance between here and the earth and the moon and the stars and the sun and all that stuff? So what? Okay, good. I know that to impress you, I can tell you. But beyond that, what? But if that wow factor is not awakened in me, about wow, this whole photosynthesis, all this carbon cycle, water cycle, all these things, if knowing all this, if this knowledge doesn't create that wow and wonder in me, and say, how can I spread that wow and wonder and enthusiasm and positivity around me? If I'm not able to do it, then what use all this education? I see sometimes these so-called PhDs and all these very serious academicians and all. Not everybody is very joyous. They can be pretty serious. That humanity, that connection, either some people have it and they have opened up to that, or some people don't. You see that very clearly in this world. So it's just amazing to see how just having the academic knowledge is not good enough. Intellectual knowledge, something with that has to be there too.
So what do you think are the unique qualities that women bring to the leadership table in your experience?
A leader is one, at least for me, is one who guides from the behind. In the sense, there are leaders who guide from the front, saying, all of you follow me here, I'm walking and creating a new path. That is one kind of leadership. But me being a so-called teacher, as I said, I'm a student. So for me, I get great joy when my student excels, when my student says, I can do this, Miss S, I got it. When a student says that, feels that, says, I figured this out for myself, I feel that I got the Nobel Prize that day, So it's like, it's more like guiding from the back rather than leading from the front. You have all kinds of leaders in this world, but in my profession / my choice of the kind of work I do, I feel that being in the background, but allowing them to, when they come up and say these things, they feel that, and they create that that majesty that they find themselves capable of doing something like that. It just thrills me no end, and it fulfills me very much.
What progress have you seen on the gender equality front in your experience of life and work?
I'm in a profession which is predominantly female. I see more females than males, to be honest with you. So it's kind of hard for me to answer this. That academic rigor which is required for either gender, whether it's boy or girl, what I'm finding is either you have it or you don't. So I will not put it really down to any one gender or one over the other. But what I'm finding is when academic rigor, especially in the sciences, is required, you need a lot more focus and attention to detail. Actually, that is required even in arts, for that matter. Any subject matter, you need attention to detail and you need focus. So, but then here in this country, especially in the Silicon Valley, you see a lot of these skewed numbers, especially in the IT industry. And that is not the case back in India, actually. It's the reverse in India. Because in India, for some strange reason, in high school, these kids, especially the girls, are far more academically motivated or whatever, I don't know, than boys. They're less distracted comparatively. So the numbers that come out of India for every year when the CBSE results are announced, mostly it's girls who top those classes, and many of them get into these a lot of engineering careers as much as medicine and other science STEM careers. So it depends, actually. It really depends a lot on the ability of a student to focus, to have that clarity and understanding, to excel in giving importance to details as much as to the big picture. And this kind of education that we offer in our schools, provides it by default, because the basic exists, the substratum is that yogic philosophy from which they do that. They have it becomes almost effortless, I would say, to be able to focus, to be able to get their academic goals met as easily as anything else.
So just to sum it up, my last question, it's amazing to see your journey on this, not just spiritual path, but also the philanthropic journey that you've covered. What motivates you to continue doing the same, and how do you do it?
First of all, I don't think I do anything. Okay. I think if I had to rephrase that question, I don't do anything. I just feel like today you called me and said, hey, can you come on this interview and can you do this? I'm like, sure. Whatever's asked of me, if I'm available, I'm going to say yes. And if I'm not available, I'm going to say, if not today, can I do it tomorrow? That's pretty much it. It's like, it's just that. And I feel very honored. I feel blessed that I get an opportunity. When I look at it from that perspective, I feel I do nothing. I really feel I do absolutely nothing. It feels like trivial what I do compared to some of the things that so many people are doing, so many amazing things. I feel like, oh, I get this little bit of an opportunity to do this little tiny little bit. Yay! So to call it something big, I would not call it something big. I don't think I'm doing something big, but any little bit contribution, absolutely yes.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi ji. It's been a pleasure interviewing you. It's been a totally wonderful experience. And to all our current and aspiring women leaders out there, may you continue to shine and bring your love, light, and wisdom to this world. So stay connected with us on this journey to support our girl children. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Till next time, take care. Bye-bye.